Hey, I'm your host, Jen Wheeler, and this is the Healthy Her podcast. I'm a teacher, author, and foodie who went from being addicted to sugar, skipping meals, and struggling to get in control of my eating, to someone who is 10 kilos down, eats all the yummy foods without restriction, and is finally in control of my hunger. I'm obsessed with helping other health-conscious women ditch the confusion and overwhelm so they can cultivate healthy eating habits and truly thrive. The Healthy Her podcast was created to give you real talk about healthy eating, as well as easy, actionable tips that fit seamlessly into your busy lifestyle. I'm not just your host. Think of me as your healthy eating hype gal, your personal cheerleader as we chat all things healthy eating, weight loss, and mindset mastery, so you can become the healthiest, happiest version of you. So if you're ready to ditch the guilt, reclaim your confidence, and unlock the very best version of you, then you're in the right place. So let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to the Healthy Her podcast. Just before I jump into today's episode, I just want to remind you that you can still register for my free masterclass, Why You Are Not Losing Weight and exactly what you need to do about it. I know as women that we get so confused and so overwhelmed by this whole weight loss and healthy eating thing, just like I did too. So in this free masterclass, I hold nothing back and I share with you exactly why what you're doing isn't working and exactly what you need to do in order to fix it. And I truly wish this was the conversation that someone had sat down and had with me, because I wasted so much time, and I'm talking years. And I'm sure so many of you feel the same, that you just wasted years, like trying to diet, trying to lose weight, trying to eat healthy, trying to work out consistently. And it all comes down to a few basic things. So if you haven't registered already, don't forget to register for my free masterclass, and I will pop the link in the show notes for you. Now, if you are a mum and you are listening to this and you have read the title, it's about mum guilt, then you are going to be able to relate to this. As mothers, we always feel guilty. We feel guilty that we're not parenting right, that we're giving our kids too much screen time or iPad time, that we haven't fed our kids enough vegetables, that we weren't there enough for them, like we were there for them too much. Like there's always something as a mother that we feel guilty about to our children. And that's why we struggle when it comes to taking care of ourselves and healthy eating and fitting in exercise and all of those things, because mum guilt always gets in the way. Because when my kids were babies, I used to think that the mum guilt would change, that somehow, your kids get older and you just don't feel as guilty anymore. It's so wrong. It's always there. It's something that's inbuilt in us, I think, as women, that we just always feel guilty as mothers, and we always feel like we're just not quite doing enough, because we're always juggling all of the balls and trying to keep our heads above water and do all of the things, and we always just feel like we're not. So I just want to remind you that you are doing enough. Like your kids are very lucky to have you, and you are doing more than enough, especially in today's modern society where women are juggling so many things. So this is your reminder that mum guilt will never go away, that you're doing a really good job. And I'm going to give you some tips today as to how you can, ditch that mum guilt a bit when it comes to making time for exercise, fitting in a workout, doing some meal prepping for yourself, because it's really important that you don't feel guilty for taking care of yourself, because when you show up for yourself, you show up better for others. You show up in a more calm manner. You show up less stressed. You show up with more energy. You can handle conflicts and issues better. So it is really important to find a way to push that mum guilt away and to the side, and to find ways to make yourself a priority. Now, let's be honest, there are going to be times where your kids are going to have to come first, whether they're really sick or something's happening, or there are going to be those times where your kids come first. And that's what we do as mothers, is we push our own feelings and our own emotions and our own needs and wants aside, and we put our kids first. Like I said, it's inbuilt in us as human beings, and that is just the reality. But it doesn't mean that just because there's those times where your kids must come first, that doesn't mean that there's not room in your day that's just for you as well too, because you matter too. You're important in this equation too. And like I said, if you don't take care of yourself, it's very hard for you to show up for others in you're the best version of yourself. It's that whole thing, when you're on an aeroplane and, this, like the hostess is doing the demonstration at the front of the plane and they say, okay, if you're a parent or you're a mother or you're a dad of young children, make sure you put your own mask on first before you put your children's mask on first, and there's a reason that they say that. And it is the same when it comes to taking care of yourself, moving your body and taking care of your wellness. You matter too. And when you look after yourself, you show up as the best version of you for your loved ones, for your children, and for those people that are around you. So I hope after today's episode that it's going to help you ditch some of that guilt. Like I said, it doesn't always go away, but I'm hoping that this episode is going to help you let go of a whole lot of it, and also to show you that your weight loss and your healthy eating goals and all those things that you want to do and the ways that you want to look after yourself can actually work alongside your kids and your lifestyle and why it's actually really good for them. So I'm going to go into all of that in today's episode. Now, this next one may shock you a lot, but over time, I've learned this to be 100% true. Our kids do not listen to what you say, okay? Kids do not listen to what we say. They watch what you do. So I'm going to say that again. Kids don't listen to what we say. They watch what we do. So have a think about that for a second. So ask yourself this, what are your kids seeing you do right now? Like, what habits do you have at home that your kids are watching you do? Are they watching and listening to you saying all the time, oh, I was going to go and work out this morning, but I didn't do it. Didn't go, couldn't be bothered, slept in instead, didn't do it. They watching you come home and sit on the couch and eat a block of chocolate and watch Netflix every night? Is that what your kids are saying you're doing? Because the unfortunate thing is kids don't listen to what we say. They are watching what you do. And I have learnt this over time. It actually has blown my mind. They are watching you. You think they're not. You think that, like if you're saying, oh, you need to eat your broccoli and you need to eat your vegetables, they're not listening to you say that. They're watching you. Are you eating your vegetables? Are you eating your broccoli? We always, as mothers, have such good intentions for our children. Go outside and kick the ball and go and play and get off your device and, make sure you eat your vegetables. Have you drunk some water today? Are you wearing a jumper? But when it comes to ourselves, we have different rules. And that's what your kids are watching. They are watching what you do and they are taking that on board. So just take a moment to have a think about it. Like, what are your kids actually seeing you do? What habits are you doing every day? Like I said, are you skipping the workout? Are you not eating your vegetables? Are you not drinking your water? Are you doing all of the polar opposite things that you are telling your own kids to do every single day? Because they're not listening to you. They're watching what you do and you are role modeling to them, and they are going to take notes and take lessons from the things that you are actually doing, not from the things that you say. Now, I want to share a couple of my own personal stories and my personal experience with this. So, as you know, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, I started my weight loss journey after I had a baby, and I just didn't like myself, and I felt like I just lost touch with who I was. I didn't like what I saw in the mirror. My clothes were tighter, all those kind of things. And so I started working out at home when my baby was asleep. So that's how I did it. Okay. Started working out. I did at-home workouts. Now, as my baby went from being a baby into a toddler. Now, if you've ever worked out at home, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But my child eventually started doing the workouts alongside with me. Okay. Yes, obviously they didn't do them perfectly, but they did the workouts and tried to do the stretches or wanted to move the weights around on the floor. Now that purely happened by watching what I do. This is a toddler that we're talking about. Just from watching me do at-home workouts to get my mat out. Because when I started working out at home, I just bought a few, those cheap weights from Kmart, and I just did those at home as part of the sort of circuit that I was doing. And my toddler was watching me. So I would do my workouts, obviously not ideal, trying to work out with a toddler, but my toddler was doing these workouts alongside of me. And that was purely from watching what I do every day.
If you are curious about this membership, about Jen's meal plans, about all that she's talking about, you've got to join her membership. It is money well spent. I can't imagine how much longer I would have gone on searching for answers that Jen showed me were right inside of myself. life-changing.
And the really great thing about that is that my children do not question now when I go and exercise, because I've set that up from the start. It's never a question. It's never a, like, oh, mum's going to the gym. Oh, are you going to the gym? How are you going to be? Why are you going? Can't you stay here with me? I don't get any of that. It's like, okay, yep, good to see you when you get back. Enjoy your workout. You have to set up those things in your home so that your children see that you looking after yourself is okay and that they support that decision. Okay, it can't just be, and, I'd like to say, in the ideal world that this doesn't happen, but I also know too that there are a lot of women out there that struggle with non-supportive partners or husbands. And when they go and try and work out or, take some time for themselves or hit a class or Pilates or yoga or whatever their thing is, their husband gives them a hard time. What are you going for? How are you going to be? When are you going to be back? Or how am I supposed to do this? Like, what do I feed the baby? Like, what time's bedtime? And there's that mum guilt, the guilt, that it's not okay for you to go and work out and for you to go and make time for yourself. So, if you are in that situation, it's really important that you open up to your partner and that you tell them and you explain, why this is important for you, and that you can also reciprocate that and say to your partner, like, they might go and play sport or they might want to join the gym or do something. You can tell them that I will do the same thing for you, so you can go and do your workout or your sport class or your footy practice or whatever you want to do, and I will support you. So it really needs to be a partnership and a team, and something that you can support each other in. But it really just needs to be normalized as a mum. You working out, whether that's at home, at a gym, going for a walk, is a normal thing for you to do. It is a healthy thing for you to do. And it is something that your kids should see you doing, because like I said, they don't listen to what you say. They are watching what you do. So if you take care of yourself and if you move your body, they are going to do the same. And I feel like that is especially more important in today's current society, because kids don't move enough. Like, they spend so much time on computers at school and devices and all of those kind of things. So, it really needs to be a team effort, a family effort to get out and go for a walk together or a bike ride or kind of do those kind of things. So you're all supporting each other in keeping active and also keeping your movement up. The other story I wanted to share with you was around my Sunday meal planning and my Sunday meal preps. So when I first started my Instagram account, if you're not following me already, it's the Active Bod at Instagram. And when I first started that account, one of the things that I did was every single Sunday I would record and I would put it up in my stories, like everything from start to finish, the meal prep that I was actually doing. So what I was meal prepping for breakfast, for lunches, and a little bit of my meal planning for the week. And I would film it and I would share it all on my Instagram. And then I would post up the recipe for like you to try, and then you could meal prep that the following week. When I started doing this, because obviously I found that meal prepping really helped me, especially with my weight loss, because I was still like teaching at a school at that time. And so it was just, if I didn't do my meal prep, I just wouldn't eat healthy, and I knew that I felt better when I ate healthy. So an hour of like meal prep on a Sunday became really, really important to me. And it was something that I did every single week. It got to the point where, my kids were like, oh, okay, Mum, what are we meal prepping this week? What are we going to make? Can I help you? What are you doing? And that's all because they weren't listening to what I was saying. They were just watching what I do. So my kids eventually, this is young kids, became quite involved in the process of helping me do some meal prep for the week ahead. So it was showing them how I make myself a priority, and it was showing me how I was setting myself up for success. So I have loads of examples like that. And again, it's because I've shown that these things are normal and it's okay for mum to look after herself as well as look after you too. And I think that's the important message that our kids need to see, that it doesn't have to be mum last and mum doesn't count and mum has to do everything for us and we're not allowed to do anything for ourselves. It can be that mum matters too, her wellness matters too, her exercise matters too, her healthy eating matters too. And the more that you can show your kids these habits, the more that they will start copying the things that you do every single day. So a couple of tips to help you ditch that mum guilt. And like I said, you just have to accept the fact that mum guilt is always going to be there. you are always going to feel like what you do is never enough, or it's not right, or it's, not what society says you should be doing, or how you should be raising your children, or everyone parents slightly different. So you just have to accept that mum guilt is a part of it. But like I said, you can change your mindset and start thinking differently about the way that you see mum guilt. And also too, it starts with how you see yourself. If you're still thinking that, in your family and in your family dynamics that you're at the bottom and that you don't matter, then you need to change that ASAP. Okay? Mums are most important in the family. Okay? And if you look after yourself, you look after everyone else in a better way. So definitely start by switching up your mindset and changing the way that you think about that mum guilt and the way that you think about you being a priority too. My second tip is get your kids involved. Get them involved. If you want to lose weight, if you want to eat healthy, I got a message from a lady the other day, and she purchased the meal plan pack that I have on my website. She got the OG, the BG, and the Prep Queen meal plan. So it comes in like a little bundle so you can try out the recipes and everything. And she messaged me to say that her entire family had lost weight because they were all moving together and eating together and meal planning together and prepping the meals and deciding what to eat together. And, so it can be done. You can, get your kids involved in the process. So often we just go, oh, they're not old enough. Even young kids can have a choice, can have a say, can help with cooking, can help with meal planning, can help with, oh, hey, how can we add some extra vegetables into our dinner tonight? All of those little things can make a massive, massive impact. So where you can, try and get your kids involved. Now, I know often we can say, oh, it's just easier to do it myself. But the bottom line is that teaches them nothing. If you just do everything for your kids and you don't involve them in any of the healthy eating or the meal planning or cooking or any of that sort of stuff, they're not going to learn. So it is actually really important that you try and involve them where you can in everyday life so that they start to see the importance of wellness, healthy eating, and taking care of themselves. And I've already mentioned this one, but make it really normal that you work out. Mum's going to work out, mum's going to go for a walk, mum's going to do a YouTube workout. The more you do it, the more you're sending that message to your kids that taking care of yourself and exercising is just normal. It's a normal thing that mum does. And what you will find, even if initially you get a bit of kickback, your kids will eventually absorb what you're doing and take that on board and see it as a positive thing. So if initially, like I said, you find it a little bit difficult and the kids are giving you a hard time, or your partner or whatever it is, keep doing it, because it will keep sending that message to them that, hey, this is something that mum needs. It's important that you're going to do it and that it's okay for you to take care of yourself. And like I said earlier, you're important. You matter too. It's not that, your children and everyone else comes before you. You matter too. It's just adjusting your mindset and the way that you see mum guilt, the way that you view things, the way that you view your children, the way that you view yourself. It's not me last. It's me too. And that's something that you always need to remember, because I promise you, when you start prioritizing yourself, it has like a ripple effect throughout your entire family, okay? Because they will start to show up better, and it does sort of have that ripple effect. And I noticed that myself with my own family when I started changing my eating habits. It went through to my husband, and then it was my kids, and then, extended family were like, oh, what are you doing? And how are you doing that? And how do you plan your meals? And so it does have a ripple effect when you do start to take care of yourself. So don't forget, it is not me last. It is you too, and that you matter. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and I will see you all in our next one. Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the Healthy Her podcast. If you enjoyed today's chat and found it helpful, hitting that follow or subscribe button would be amazing, because your support means the world to me. Come connect with me on Instagram @TheActiveBod for your daily dose of inspiration and for loads of new easy meal ideas. Take care and keep thriving. See you next week.